Greetings, Guy McPherson here with Jamen Shively, and we're here to point out that we are at a critical moment in human history. Never has the human species been so threatened with extinction than we are today. We are in the midst of abrupt climate change. As with the 1930s in Germany, it is terrible to look at this. It is absolutely horrific to look at this. As with Germany in the 1930s, it's even worse to not look at it. So we are looking at it. We invite you to join us.
Absolutely. And we invite and in fact dare all heads of state of all nations around the world and all world leaders generally, regardless of political affiliation or holding office of any kind, to join us in A, looking at this, and B, doing something about it. So we'll get to the doing something about it in a moment. But first, in addition to being so horrific to look at,
it's hazardous as well. We invite you, we invite world leaders to join President of Finland in pointing out that we are in the midst of a climate emergency. The leader, the president of Finland, points out that if we lose the Arctic ice, we lose habitat for human beings on Earth. And we are on the verge of losing ice in the Arctic forever as far as humans are concerned. Never has our species been so threatened with extinction than today. The president of Finland knows this. Please join the president of Finland, join us in pointing out the hazards ahead, pointing out the disaster unfolding even as we speak. I've been persecuted. Many of you have been persecuted. The persecution has affected my ability to get the message out about abrupt climate change and the hazard, the risk of human extinction. Let's set that aside. Let's focus on the facts. Let's focus on the dire state of the emergency we are within and that is accelerating. Let's forget about the persecution, mine, yours, Jamin's, everybody else's, and move forward on the most critical issue ever to face our species.
absolutely. And we need to focus on refreezing the Arctic by this summer at the very latest. We are so close to the brink. Let's back off from the brink by refreezing the Arctic. How are we going to refreeze the Arctic? Here's some general ideas. And here's why we need all world leaders, not just political leaders, but technology leaders, artists, musicians, all kinds of leaders from all sectors to join us in co-creating all of the solutions, not just the engineering solutions, the political solutions, the cultural solutions, the memes, the messaging, the PR. You know, how do we get this to spread virally so that we can all come together as one united world to take action?
And the first step in that is joining together and agreeing that action is needed, agreeing that if we don't look at the abyss,
yes,
then the abyss will swallow us unknowing. Let's at the very least look at the abyss. Let's have the conversation about looking into the abyss and perhaps even averting falling into the abyss as individuals and as a species. We must start now. There's no time like today. There is no more tomorrow.
Exactly. And there will be no tomorrow if we don't A, look at the abyss, and B, do something about it. Refreezing the Arctic. I just want to mention super briefly. With geoshading, with shading, we can do localized shading. Imagine blimps suspending massive thin film reflective sheets, 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers, tens of thousands of those. We need millions of square kilometers of sea ice, dark blue sea ice that used to be ice reflecting sunlight back into space is now absorbing heat. We need to deflect that back into space. Number two, ocean barriers to deflect away the warm ocean currents. We'll talk more about this in other materials that we'll point to below. But the bottom line message is this.
We've got to take action. We've got to stop looking away. We've got to stop turning away from the most horrific of outcomes and come to grips. Do what we can. We must have the conversation. We must attempt to take action. Even if we fail, at least we will have tried. Let's do that. Please join us.
Please join us.
Now.
Now. Thank you.